Hey everybody, it's Peter, and in this review we're going to do a practical review, a different review than you've seen of these vehicles in the past, of the 2023 Honda CR-V, and we're going to compare that to the Nissan Rogue. Nissan Rogue is actually, I don't know, it might be a 22, but the point is that was done, a redesign of that was done in 2021. This has been redesigned new for 2023, and I think a lot of the reviews out there are leaving out some of the practical differences that you as an owner are going to want to know about. So that's what I'm going to do in this comparison video to try to give you an idea of what makes these vehicles great. So I'm filming here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals, Jim Gilbert's Power Sports. They give me complete access to their entire vehicle lineup, and the best thing about coming here is if you are interested in this vehicle, you can shop it at the same dealership amongst all of its competitors. So I happen to have the Rogue today. I could have any number of the other competitors. I'm looking right behind the camera at the RAV4s. There's all kinds of other stuff, the Volkswagen Tiguan. There's all kinds of other stuff throughout the lot that competes directly with these cars, and this is an interesting segment because you're stepping into a quality of vehicle that is a great long-term vehicle. So yesterday I looked at the Nissan Kicks and the Hyundai Venue, and although those had a lot of features when you compare the spec sheet, there's definitely a luxury quality feel difference between that class and this class. And this class kind of excites me. It's a very good class. It's really stepped up its game in the past number of years. And like I said, in this video, we're going to show you a comparison. So if you're interested in either of these two vehicles or this class of vehicle, make sure you hit subscribe. And of course, if you want to come check them out, you can swing by in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. That's where these vehicles are. Let's get going with our review. So when we talk about this class of vehicle, let's get a couple things out of the way. This used to be known as the small crossover segment, but they have grown. These would be mid-size crossovers not that many years ago, but they're still in that 5-passenger category, and that means that they're really in that small crossover segment. They have great trunk space, they have good passenger comfort, great passenger comfort really, and they've got a lot of unique features. But is it right for you? Is it not right for you? If you just need a small crossover, Honda has an HR-V below it, which is basically what the same size as a CR-V used to be. Nissan's got a number of other options in their class as well. So you can really kind of vary. If all you're looking for is an all-wheel drive 5-passenger crossover, there's all kinds of options. These ones have grown a little in size, but they are just as easy to drive. And the key piece to both of these is safety features. To pass a modern safety test, vehicles don't just have to be able to crash well and crumple. That's what they used to have to do. Now they have to avoid collisions, and both of these vehicles come equipped standard with a whole lot of safety, including safety crash avoidance systems. And the crash avoidance is really a big piece in this class. Both of these cars are class leading. Let's start by looking at some of those practical details though. We're going to start with the trunk, go to rear seat, and then we're going to go in the driver's seat of both to compare some of those technologies. Let's get going. So let's start by taking a look at the trunks of both these vehicles. We're going to come in here. We're not going to ignore styling because styling is something that you can probably decide for yourself what you might like better. The sport model we have today of the CR-V is a powered tailgate. The one I grabbed today of the Rogue is not a powered tailgate, but you can get powered tailgates in those. Let's start checking out the seating here. So couple things worth noting. Trunks are large in this class, and in general, you'll have a floor like this that if we go wide angle for a second, you'll see a little better, skews the view, but you can kind of see what's going on. If we look underneath the floor, you'll have a spare tire. It'll be in there like that. And then you have the ability to drop this floor down. So both of these vehicles are set up to sort of have a level floor right here, but you can drop it down. Let's go away from the wide angle for a second here, and you can look at over here. You have a little grocery bag hook, so if you're buying apples or oranges or something like that, you have a little space to hang those bags there to make sure those bags don't spill while you're driving. You've got LED lights, you've got a 12-volt port, you've got tie-downs down here, which I think a lot of people underrate, but on a long road trip, it's nice to have tie-downs there, there, and there as well. So you've got the 4 tie-downs, one in each corner, and you can tie things down. One interesting thing about this vehicle, actually, before we get to the interesting thing, you can put a cargo blind in here. You can see that the cargo blind doesn't sit directly behind the seat, and the reason that is because these seats both recline, and that'll be the same in both vehicles here. You've got LED lights. There's another little bag clip there. Again, the interesting thing that I haven't pointed out yet is, if we take a look at these seats here, the latch system, which is the child anchor system for your child seats, one on the outside, one on the outside. Now that doesn't mean you can't mount one on the inside in the center. You can, but if you mount it in the center there, you're mounting it using this seat belt. So let's take a look at the Rogue for a second now, because in their little video brochures and little video things online, again, this one does not power, but in their video things online, They show 3 child seats across, and that's because legally, with the latch system and everything else, you can always use a seatbelt, but you have a latch system there, latch system there, latch system there. So you can mount that latch child seat 1, 2, or 3 pieces in the Rogue. Something to keep in mind. The Rogue is actually a vehicle that really impressed me, but again, so has the CR-V. So this one has the cargo blind installed. You can see it's built in there, and again, the seats are reclinable. Both are reclinable front, both sides are reclinable. They're 60-40 split in both vehicles. This here just uses that cargo blind to sort of lock in place there. Coming down here, you still have tie downs in all 4 corners. One there, and you have down here as well. And if it looks a lot like the CR-V, that's because these were designed to compete with each other. You do have the 12-volt port back here as well, so you have power in both of the backs of the cars, but you don't have those little grocery bag hooks that you do in the CR-V. Underneath the floor, same thing here. Nice solid floor that comes level. Let's go wide angle again there. Comes level with that area there. You lift that up, and you do have a spare tire. And again, this floor can be lowered down. Oops, I just left-handed. There we go. It can be lowered down again to give you a little bit extra clearance. Really, that clearance is most useful if you have the cargo cover in place. If you have a larger item, you can just get a little bit more space in there with that cargo cover in there. But again, very competitive in the trunks. Now, before we go to the rear seat, I want to show you something that's really cool about the rear doors here. Both of these vehicles, in all of the doors, have doors. We're still wide angle. Let's just zoom in from the wide angle for a second. They have doors that down in this area, they wrap around. So you can see the door cut goes all the way around. That means that when you get out of this vehicle, let me just open the door. When you get out of this vehicle, that door sill is going to stay clear of dirt. That is something that is on both these vehicles. So we're going to open this door here. We'll come back to that in just 1 second. You have that. Let's go over here to the Rogue. This one is not as clean as I would have liked for the video, but it is what it is. Same thing. It's got some body work there, but when we open this door here and wrap around, you can see those larger rubber seals, which are on the bodywork here. They're on the door on the CR-V. This area will stay cleaner. So when you get out of the taller vehicles and rub your pant leg along the edge of the vehicle, it is something that is very covered up. So we're going to talk about rear seat and rear seat access. Give me 1 second. We'll do that right now. So we're back here at the Honda CR-V. Now, Honda's big claim to fame for the new generation of rear seats here in the CR-V is that this door opens 90 degrees. And from a filming perspective, it's really nice to be able to stand directly beside the car and have the door not like this, but directly 90 degrees open. That is great for a whole bunch of reasons. This allows, if you're putting child seats in, you've got more space. If you're putting, pets, kids, even if you have someone with mobility issues, you've got more ability to stick them in and out when the door opens 90 degrees. Now, what's interesting is, yeah, the Rogue's been doing that for years. So a lot of Honda people are saying, hey, I love that that door opens 90 degrees. So does the Rogue. The Rogue is excellent in that exact same category. So something this to keep in mind, the one piece that's popular, it's been done on the Rogue before. So let's jump in now and show you the rear seat before we go to the front seat. All right, we are sitting inside the Honda CR-V. Now, I get it. A lot of vehicle manufacturers, in fact, every manufacturer lists the inches of legroom and knee room, and people will sit there and say, okay, because this one has more legroom or knee room, then that one is more spacious. But what's interesting is with the advancement of adjustable front seats, not just tilting front and back, but raising and lowering, a taller person, for instance, can lower the seat and keep it more close, or raise the seat and bring it in, and they can manipulate the actual rear legroom in real world stats versus the spec sheet of how they're measured. So I am a 6-footer. I'm sitting here with the seats in a normal recline position, and I've got tons of headroom here, so that's really good. But the bigger difference is this used to be the small SUV class. I've got massive amounts of legroom and knee room, and my legs, this is a key one for me, are flush on the seat. Let me just try to get the camera around. I've got a little remote here that's not working great. All right, you can see I am flush on the seat. So while being flush on the seat where my legs are supported, I'm also got plenty of legroom in here. This is an excellent back seat, and that's why this class is growing. You've got more space for things like larger child seats, which are becoming more and more common with safety things and marketing as well. But you've also got a lot of comfort here for full-size people. Let's just flip the camera around, take a look around what's back here before we head over to the Rogue. All right, so we are wide angle here, and the trim lines may not match up perfectly, but they are both cloth seat vehicles. You have a passenger pocket over here. You do not have a pocket over on the driver's side on this particular vehicle. You have vents, but no ports. It looks like ports could be put in there if you were on a different trim level. So, you know, sort of the basics here. I'd like to see a pocket in every seat, not just in the passenger side, but it is what it is. One thing I want to show you is we're going to jump out, and I've got the camera the right way. Let's just jump out to these doors. You've got keyless entry keys, which we're going to show you in a second here. What's interesting is on the Honda, there's no touchpad on the rear door. That's pretty common stuff. You've got the touchpad on the front door for activating the key. When I say touchpad on this one, it is just sort of a grooved area. On the Nissan Rogue, you do have little touchpads on the doors to be able to jump in. So we're going to jump into there right now. But if I had the key, I could unlock the door right from there, which is a nice little touch. All right, sitting in the Nissan Rogue here, very good comfort as well. So there is a difference, and I want to show you a few things. The first thing we're going to do is look up. This one has, ooh, the wrong way. This one has a panoramic sunroof where the other one has a regular sunroof. So that does kind of take away headroom at the end of the day back here, because where the other one goes inside the vehicle and then the roof line can raise, this one's going to have a little bit lower roof line to support, but you can see still plenty of headroom for my 6-foot frame. Now, coming down here, there is a little difference here. A little bit less comfort because if I square my legs up, I am off the seat, but there's so much legroom, you don't have to square your legs up. So again, both the front seats on both these vehicles are set up the way I would drive, and you have immense legroom. So what I like about the Honda is the rear bench is just a little bit higher, and that gives me the ability to feel a little bit more supported in my legs. Nothing wrong here, this is still perfectly fine. But of course, having the ability to have a panoramic sunroof instead of a regular sunroof, that's something I like back here as well, because you have a pretty spectacular view right here. Let's flip the camera around and show you some of the differences here as well. All right, I don't know if I was clear before, but we have got the wide angle view here. So you can see we've got a pocket over there. Nissan understands what I want. Pocket on both seats there as well. So again, these are cloth seats here. This one does have vents there as well. And again, the trim level here allows for a USB-C and USB-A plug down there, which I like. The vehicle I'm in happens to have some nice factory floor mats that link together that really cover everything up. So again, pretty similar stuff if you've matched trim line to trim line, although it may be different if you have USB ports at a certain price point, but you can probably get those USBs everywhere. Venting back there is nice. There's always venting underneath the seat. So even if you don't see venting here, almost always there's venting under the seat. Certainly in this class there would be, but again, good stuff for putting a pocket on both vehicles here. All right, as we get ready to go in the driver's seat of the CR-V, let's show the keys first. This is what the key looks like for the Honda CR-V, and it is lock, unlock, remote start, and of course that powered trunk will give you the ability to power open the tailgate. The trim line of the Nissan we're looking at today won't have that, but of course some of them do. But it's a nice simple key, fairly compact, which I like, and I throw that in my pocket. We'll jump in here. Now we're gonna see about glare. I didn't do a pre-check to see if there's too much glare. We may have to drive this vehicle around to avoid the glare, but let's just start with the seat here. All right, so there we go. You've got powered seats, typical powered seats with the lumbar support. That's what I expect. The CR-V seats, I'm gonna tell you right up front, they're very, very good. We'll show you them in a second, but they are nice and spacious, and let's see, we can deal without some glare here. I think we're okay. All right, Honda screens. You've got the typical Honda screen in here now. Let's turn the vehicle on. We'll talk about those screens. So, left side, let's see if we can show it. When we were filming indoors in this vehicle in the past, you could sort of see that this entire section, let's just zoom in, maybe we can see a little better. Oh, let's try to zoom in one more and see if that helps. There we go. Maybe, nope. You can sort of see that there's a screen around that display. Let me just go wider, oops, not that far. All right, so basically your center display and your tachometer is a display screen. On the right side, you have a regular tachometer. It is a little bit tough to sort of see everything in there. There's some glare around there and the camera's having trouble focusing, but you do have a very good multi-information display on every trim line over here. Over here, you're gonna get basically similar stuff with different software on that. So we're not gonna talk too much about it other than to show you a backup camera. Honda has a very nice backup camera. Nissan has a little bit better one, in my opinion. So, the Honda offers this regular backup camera. It is flickering on your camera there. I don't know how to fix that right now, but it doesn't flicker, of course, in real life. So there's your standard backup camera there, wide angle. Actually, sorry, this is your standard backup camera there. Over here, we got an extra wide angle if we hit that. And then over here, we've got a very narrow angle looking straight down. If you were to hitch a trailer or something like that, you could see that. So nice backup camera. It's pretty good stuff. Let's just go on the regular screen. Again, sorry about the flicker there. It does work pretty good. We're not going to go into software in this review. If you want to see that in the future, we can do that. The auto climate control is a dual zone system in this vehicle, and it's set for 21.5 right there. Anytime you see glare in here on the camera, remember there's much more glare on the camera. In fact, I don't see any glare in real life at this display, but remember the camera always adds glare, so don't worry too much about that. If you see a little bit of glare in there, it's not so bad in person. Coming down here, USB-C and USB-A ports, that's what I like to see. I have an iPhone and they're only shipping it with the cord with the USB-Cs now, so that's just nice to have them both. You got the 12-volt port there as well, lots of space down here. And then you've got typical things like drive modes, which you're gonna have. You're gonna have the gear shift there. CVT transmissions on both these vehicles, I believe. I'm almost positive, yeah. And then you've got typical cup holders, so typical stuff in here. One thing that you're gonna see in the Nissan is they make use of the space down here. In the lighting, I can't show you on the Honda, but this does have more space. Overall, you've got things like that lane keeping assist, that kind of thing. You've got a smart cruise control, which can keep its distance ahead of you. So lane keeping assist can actively watch the lanes. It can help you stay in the lane. And then you've got that smart cruise control, which of course can keep the distance between the vehicles in front of you. And a lot of that is determined by a little camera system that's up here looking forward. That camera system going forward will also give both of these cars sort of an active ability to stop the car if it sees a collision is imminent. So it will at the very least try to slow down the car. It is not something you should ever test. There are built-in software things to allow you to continue to hit things, but if you're not paying attention, they are capable of stopping themselves in other traffic. And again, because there's that camera there, it helps with the lane keep, helps with a whole bunch of other stuff. And then down here, just typical steering wheel controls. You have a heated steering wheel here as well, which is very nice right on the steering wheel. So again, basic overview here. Let's go look at actually, you know what? Let's flip the camera around for 1 second. Flipping the camera around, you can see I am underneath the sunroof here, so it's fine. From a driver's perspective, it's very similar to the overall perspective in the Rogue. However, from passengers, again, they don't have the sunroof above them on this, and that's just the design of the CR-V. The seats in this vehicle, rear seat and front seat, to my body, I think they're a little bit better than the Rogues. Not a lot, like it's not gonna make a whole lot of difference to a lot of you about exactly which one's more comfortable. It'll depend on your body, but to me, they fit me very well and they're slightly more comfortable for me. We're gonna show you the Rogue seats. There's nothing wrong with them, but I'll talk about what's different in them when we get there. Let's go there right now. All right, jumping in the Nissan Rogue, let's take the key out and show you that as well. Same idea, remote start, lock and unlock, nice compact key fob. I really like that. I'm pretty sure there are Nissan Rogues with the tailgate that would have the button on the tailgate to open the powered tailgate. Again, I'm showing you a trim line that doesn't have that, but nice compact key. I like compact keys. You don't want a whole lot of stuff in your pockets, and I think compact is nice. And of course, the buttons on the door here, I could tap that to unlock the vehicle, but it's already unlocked. All right, let's talk about the seats. I mentioned that I do like the CR-V's seats better, but these ones are still very good. So you've got down here powered seat, power lumbar, that's the same thing. What I find a little different is the lumbar support here feels the side bolster feels just a little bit softer to me. So we'll talk about the seat in a second, but let's just go in and go wide angle. We'll turn the car on. We'll do the same sort of view as we did before. Over here, a little bit more of a traditional view. Start button is down here on the dash over there. We'll show you that in a second here. You have a nice display screen here. So your tachometer is your typical tachometer, normal, and then inside that you've got your display screen, which you saw a whole bunch of different things, and we could cycle through a whole bunch of things in there, but we're not gonna show you everything. Now, 26.5 liters per 100 kilometers. Let's just talk really quickly about a dealership car. They idle a lot. Do not look at the mileage at a dealership car to determine mileage. There are a whole bunch of better sources there. We idle these cars, we warm them up, we talk about vehicles in this in the dealership while we're idling, and of course you can see that that just climbs and climbs and climbs. So ignore any mileage you have. You can see that my rear seats, same as the Honda, all the seats that are labeled as people haven't buckled up is all there, so that's good to have. Over here again, software differences here, but very similar as far as what the features are. Let's go to reverse for a second though, because that is worth pointing out, and we'll do that. So I gotta hit the button there. There's a little different gear shifter here, hard to do with my left hand, which I'm doing as I'm holding the camera with my right hand. All right, so what you have here is a whole lot of stuff going on. This is a regular backup camera of sorts, and this is a 360 camera. So that of course uses camera all around the car, and they can be repurposed for various things to give you different views. So again, a little hard to see here with glare on camera. I see much less glare in person, but we're gonna hit that camera button. This little area here can be used as a parallel parking guide to put the curb in line there with using the camera out the right side of the car. We switch back to the regular side there. So really great cameras here. There's a lot of options there to show you different types of views, and we'll come back to that 360 and back up together, which I think is super helpful. So just a little bit of an upgrade there in that camera system there, in a similar size screen certainly, so that's the same there. Coming down here, you've got the dual zone climate control as well, and again, from my angle, I don't know how to film it, I just don't see any glare. Maybe a tiny bit of glare just above the thing there, the way I'm parked, which you can sort of see there, but I really can see these clearly, so don't let my camera work dissuade you from having some of this. You've got heated seats and heated steering wheel there, heated seats here as well. It's an automatic climate zone system. You can set it either side passenger. You've got USB-C, USB-A, you've got a 12-volt port down there. So a lot of similarities, a different style to the gear shifter here, which is a little cleaner look. But again, this is the big benefit down here. I'm gonna go wide angle for a second here. Having trouble getting the camera where I want to go, but you have a large space underneath this area, which does give you a significant amount of space for something like a purse or books or all sorts of other stuff down there, which I think is an advantage. A little cleaner look maybe through here, and a few extra drive modes here. Again, drive modes, I don't know that everybody uses all of them, but you do have that here. Coming across the steering wheel, a different set of buttons to do a lot of the same stuff. You have a smart cruise control. This is sort of your safety Nissan system. Again, it still has a camera up here that looks forward. It has things like collision avoidance. It has things like the smart cruise control. It has things like the ability to help lane center and that kind of thing. This one happens to have paddle shifters, because we all know that in a small SUV, we're going to use paddle shifters non-stop. You know, I guess some people use them, but I don't think they're used that much anymore. This is a little bit more of an advanced system here. That's not your steering wheel heater over here. What that is it helps actively steer the car. So when it sees lane markers, it can actually hold the car centered in the lane. So Honda's systems and Nissan systems are very similar in this manner. There's not a real advantage one way or the other. But you can see in this class, you're getting a lot of advantage in having those systems in every trim line. All right, let's flip around to me for 1 second. All right, so if you take a look at me, I am sitting under the sunroof here. So when I'm looking forward, it's the same benefit in both vehicles with the front sunroof. Even though this one has a much larger roof overall, from the driver's perspective, you don't really gain from that so much. Better put the car in park before we drive away. So again, bigger roof, but not an advantage from the driver's perspective. Let's talk about these seats here. Fully adjustable, fully capable. They are firm here. They just feel just a smidgen smaller to me. And that's probably not going to affect a lot of people. If you're a very, very, very tall person, you're going to want to sit in anything in this class. There's nothing wrong with them at all, but it's just when you get in cars in this class, you can sort of say, hey, this one fits me great, this one feels great, this one doesn't. I've adjusted these seats a few ways, and again, class competitive. They're very good seats. The Honda just happens to have a driver's seat that I prefer, but I don't know that that would make it the vehicle for me over this one. There's a lot of pros and cons to each of these vehicles, so let's talk about which vehicle would be right for you. All right, so a lot of websites, a lot of YouTube channels will do the comparison review and say this one is the winner. It's hard for me to do that because I think what I do best is talk about which one's best for who. First thing you need to know is the redesign in 2021 and the redesign in 2023 of these is very good. Compared to the previous models, I really think they're doing a good job with both of them. However, they have grown in size and they are growing in price. So if you own one of these vehicles that's 5 or 7 or 8 years old, you're going to find that these are larger vehicles and the price has gone up. Now, they've compensated for that by placing vehicles under them in the lineup, and those may be worth considering if price is your key factor. Now, for that extra price, you are getting some nice things. You cannot get the level of safety that is in these vehicles, in even luxury vehicles from just a few years ago. So the safety systems are really important. And in this general class, safety is a big topic. A lot of people in this class have families. They value safety, especially for their kids. And again, safety is not about crunching a car anymore. It's about collision avoidance, and both of these vehicles do that very well. From a practical standpoint, the larger size of both these vehicles is very good. The trunk space in both the vehicles, again, excellent. The rear seat space, excellent. I think the CR-V has a little bit better height to the seat, which might fit larger people better, but if you're carrying kids back there all the time, even when your kids get fully grown, they probably won't notice a comfort difference between the two. The ability to have that panoramic sunroof might matter to you. Both these vehicles also have roof rails. You can carry stuff up there, whether you have the panoramic sunroof or not. So there's a lot of things kind of that mix back and forth. And in this class, it's very hard to choose a winner. The way you're going to decide which one is best for you is to get in, sit down, find a trim line that works for you within your budget and compare price point to price point, because the way they package these cars as far as packages and features is really what differentiates them more than anything else. Certain people are going to make certain companies are going to make certain decisions to be at a certain price point, and if the feature you want can be had at a lower price on this than it is on that, or a lower price on this than that, that might be the deciding factor, and that would make a lot of sense. In this class, there's good vehicles from Mazda, from Hyundai, from Kia, from even GM. I was really impressed with GM's offering in this class. There's a lot of options, and that's the benefit of filming here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. If you want to see these cars compared with other cars, or you have curious about these cars or other cars in the class, maybe there's something I didn't answer about these vehicles that you want to know about, let me know, because I can pull these vehicles back on video. I've already had this CR-V on video. I've already done videos of the Nissan Rogue as well. Maybe there's things that I didn't cover that you want me to cover, or there's other vehicles in the class that you want to see compared. Let me know what you're interested in, and make sure you hit subscribe so I can come back and film those again. And of course, if you're shopping, what better place to go to than Canada's huggable car dealer? This place is absolutely legendary for the way they take care of their customers, and I think that really matters in your experience. And the nice thing is, if you're getting numbers to compare this vehicle to that vehicle, you're getting them from the same salesperson that doesn't care which brand you buy, just cares about your happiness, and you know that your numbers are apples to apples comparisons. It's a great place to buy. So again, thanks everybody for watching. If you're interested, make sure you hit subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think. And if you're in Fredericton, New Brunswick, or anywhere near there, make sure you swing by Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. Thanks everybody for watching.